Hello and welcome to our latest unboxing video. I'm Eliza here at the Hatfield Public Library with a box of adult books. I just glanced into the box and it looks like there's some adult fiction right on top and some nonfiction. I think I spotted a travel book. Let's dig in. Let's go through the titles. First up, this is an interesting one. It's a little hard to read, but it's not that hard. The title is Falling, and it's by T.J. Newman, who is a new author to me, but look at him, or her, actually, we don't really know. But they are getting blurbed by Don Winslow and James Patterson, two really big names. And I see an airplane falling, it looks like. Oh no. 30 minutes. So it says it's an airplane where 30 minutes before it goes in the air, the pilot's family is kidnapped. And in order for his family to live, everyone on the plane must fly. Enjoy your flight. Oh, look, it's a late. Oops, what am I doing here? It's a woman. That sounds like a really dark premise, but definitely a page turner. I hope it has a happy ending. I hope that maybe somehow they save the family and everyone on the plane. I guess you'll have to read it. Nonfiction, Nightmare Scenario, Inside the Trump Administration's Response to the Pandemic That Changed History. Yasmeen Abutaleb and Damian Paletta of the Washington Post. I feel like there's kind of a lot in that subtitle, so maybe we don't need a huge summary. Yeah, but it says it's the definitive account of Trump administration's tragic mismanagement of the COVID-19 pandemic, which maybe it seems like it's kind of like in the past tense. But I mean, I guess it's in the past tense because it's the Trump administration, but like the pandemic still happening. Fun times. Back to fiction, The Last Green Valley by Mark Sullivan, who wrote a book called Beneath a Scarlet Sky. It's got a lovely cover. I'm going to say historic fiction. Let me see if yeah. Oh my gosh, World War II. Stalin's do. So it's the end of World War II, and um, wow, I'm just going to read this because it's a little confusing to me. In late March 1944, as Stalin's forces push into Ukraine, young Emil and Adeline Martel must take a terrible decision. Do they wait for the Soviet Bears' intrusion and risk being sent to Siberia, or do they reluctantly follow the Wolves, murderous Nazi officers who have pledged to protect pureblood Germans? Okay, I think I was a little confused when I was trying to summarize. I was like, bears, wolves, wait, what's going on? But I see that that's actually just like the Russians and the Nazis. Yeah. So it's about a family that's caught between two sides. Oh, fun. A new Danielle Steele, a very popular author. It looks like this one has a race car on the cover. So you know she's not messing around. Oh my goodness. Even more, here she is on the back, just looking ready to kick some butt. She always has really great cover photos. Jennifer Chiaverini, The Woman's March. She's a very popular historical fiction author, and this is about 1913 women's suffrage. Oh, okay. An interesting time to read about. Oh, look, just like I said, no reflection. Blue Ridge Parkway Road Trip. We have our first travel book, and it says with Shenandoah and Great Smoky Mountains National Parks. So, again, I've said this before, maybe some people aren't quite ready to head down south, but you can always read about it and make your plans. Here again is another one that's a little far away, but definitely a good place to visit. I used to live right near there, and it's very lovely. And this is called Walking Washington, D.C., a step-by-step guide. I love that. And yeah, D.C., it was such a fun place to live because there's all the stuff you hear about all the time, like the White House, but then there's a lot of other interesting stuff. And so if you live there, you can get more of a chance to explore it, but maybe with a book like this, you can visit and also see some of the cool things, the lesser known cool things. New York. There's the Statue of Liberty. This looks like a just a pretty standard travel guide. A lot of this stuff you can learn about on the internet, but I think one thing that the travel guide offers is you can like sort of flip through the pages and just be like, oh, this looks interesting, that looks interesting, in a way that sometimes can feel a little overwhelming on the internet. And you know that it's all filtered because it's all been edited and published. So the information should be reliable. Everything changes, but somewhat reliable. Back to fiction. J.A. Jance, Unfinished Business, an Ali Reynolds mystery. Heart-pounding and sharply written thriller. Do do do. Oh no. Oh no, it's about a guy who went to jail for killing his girlfriend, but he knows the real killer is still out there. Um, oh wow, this has such a cool cover. This is called Islands of Abandonment, Nature Rebounding in the Post-Human Landscape by Flyn. And look at this wonderful sort of tunnel. You can see there's an old railroad track and everything has regrown. So beautiful. What an interesting concept. And on the back too, you can see places where trees are overgrowing buildings. This is such an interesting thing that I think about. So this is about places like ghost towns, exclusion zones, post-industrial hinterlands. What happens when nature is allowed to reclaim the space? And I'm just going to name some of the places they talk about. They talk about an abandoned island in Scotland, Chernobyl, a demilitarized zone in Cyprus, Tanzanian mountains, some places in the Caribbean, some places in post-war France, and also to emptying areas of Detroit. So a lot of variety there. That's sounds very interesting. It fell on the floor. I'll get it. I'll get it later. Brad Thor, Black Ice, a thriller. Yep. It looks like it's Scott Horvath, who I think is his guy who he writes about. Two more books. How to Find Your Way in the Dark, a novel by Derek B. Miller. Oh, interesting. Oh, no, sad. I'm going to take back my interesting and go straight to sad. So this is about the 12-year-old boy who loses his mother in a suspicious travel accident. It takes place in 1938. Oh, and in New England. Starts off in Massachusetts, goes to Connecticut. And then he ends up living with his uncle. Wait, I read this wrong. Said his mother died in an accident, but actually it's his father who died in an accident. So where's his mother? I don't even know what's happening. But anyways, sad setup, but he ends up living with his uncle and his teenage cousins, and all while World War II is happening. And he thinks that his dad has been murdered. I don't know why I read that wrong and said it was his mom. It definitely says his dad. So I like that mystery and historical fiction combined, and also it sounded very the story of his life, a coming of age tale. So a nice combination of a bunch of different things. Last of all, these books are all starting to look the same to me, but I'm going to assume this is a new one. This one is called Landslide by Michael Wolff, The Final Days of the Trump Presidency. It's called Landslide because Donald Trump said we won in a landslide. But many, many people have disagreed with that, including many judges. So this is, I guess, looking at what was happening behind the scenes in the inner sanctum while all that was going on. And that's it. That's my box. I will be back soon with more.